Hey guys, welcome to my channel. How y'all doing? I'm Worldology, and today this new topic is kind of random, and my my topic today is the animations in the game, right? So my thoughts on the animations in the game is that they're pretty nice, right? So every I'm gonna pull up Battlefield 1, 5, and 2042 or 4, whichever one that you want to think about and prefer if you're watching a video or playing a game, either or. So all these different types of games have different type of animations, right? So first, we already notice the speed in the animations and how they work for us, right? So some people might get affected by the slide and all of that because the animation might seem too fast for the game, right? Too fast for the game. So so what I'm thinking, right? And it might be pretty bad, but actually I'm gonna get on the idea later, right? So there was a leak talking about there was a dive while shooting in Battlefield 6, right? And seen it, right? And they said it was like a dive and then you shoot after, right? To me it kind of looked like a, a diving while shooting at the same time, but it wasn't really in its final form. So with that is I think the animation should actually be, at the same time. Soon as you dive, you should be able to shoot. And I know some people will say like, "Oh man, that's a pretty hardcore thing. Like Black Ops 6 had that, right?" And obviously it don't really get utilized in the game. I haven't seen not one person do it in since the trailer and since like the beta of that game, right? So aside from that, the diving effects in the game, right, is that my idea is that I think that each individual animation should be, if people like the slow effect, right? I think because the game needs to be at least a little bit fast, like how it's supposed to be, right? So this is my idea. It might be stupid, but whatever, I'm gonna say it anyway. I think that the animations should be, I guess, a little slower, right? In a user's POV, like me in my POV, I'm moving pretty fast, right? And I can possibly keep that animation, right? I can probably keep the fast animations for the most valuable part. But I think that if they want to go the slower route, I think that we should actually have faster animations for the other person's POV, right? So if they come on their screen and they do the diving while shooting, it should be faster on our POV against their POV. So we will actually have maybe sort of a challenging of a time, but not too broken. Like it can be up there in speed, but not too speedy where we can't really react, to the person that's diving while shooting. And it do sound pretty bad in the general sense, like why why is our animation, from the other person's POV faster and we have to like have that. But what I'm thinking, right, is that the game feels in its natural state. And since the animations in all previous battlefields looked just like this, right? Like fast animations on our screen and fast animations, on our screen. Since we're going the slower route and how it looks like, right? I think that we should do those type of animations, right? And I don't think it should be solely the fastest animations for the game, I think it should be also about how the animations look in the game, because there was a lot of battlefields that had pretty pretty awkward animations, right? And not the ones that should be, like the running and the jumping, right? Those are nice animations, right? The little goofy looking animations to make the game feel more lively instead of like being, dead and stuff. But like, yeah, like dead, just like BF1, right? Or BF5. BF5 had fast movement, but on the other person's screen, it didn't really look like anything. It didn't look like the person was doing anything. Not trying to turn it into like an Apex or a Call of Duty, right? But at least have some lively in the other person's animations instead of having like the animations look dull on our screen from their POV and from our POV, you know? So just have I just think that animation should be down to a nice effect in the game. And also, speaking of nice effect to the game that we can see both POVs in that fast and slow sense, right? I think that the animation should also be um, s- specially implemented. Like I think that the animations are really dope in the previous games, and there should be some animations from the past battlefields that hasn't been in 2042, because obviously seeing from the leaks, right? There's a lot of the same animations in 2042 implemented into BF6, and I think it do make the game feel a little bit, just a little bit, because the game do not really resemble that game. It's not even close. But in the animation sense and how it feels lively when you seeing other people move, I might be weird, but seeing other people move or seeing your character move on their screen, I think that it should be there should be more animations in the game instead of just the random like going through the window and stuff like that, and the little side movement, and just no animations in the game. No way to see like if we're actually moving in the game or not. And I think that's where the Milsim thing comes into place, right? Because if we have a Milsim game, right, it would just make it look like we're like some damn robot soldiers or something. Like no type of animations, because it's like if we're trying to copy things like other games or movies, right? Why can't we have some new forms of animations? That's just what I think. I might be harsh about saying that, but I'm gonna give this idea out. So that's all I'm gonna say for this video. And it was a pretty stupid video, pretty stupid idea. But hey, I'm gonna get out there anyway. Hope you like, share, and subscribe, and eat healthy.